Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Online students, can I hear my voice? Say yes or no to me. So today's class is we are having discussion on servlet context and servlet config. So interview point of view also the two components are important, right? So today total session we are discussing about context and config. Right. So according to our object layout, so this is context and this is config. This is context. This is context and this is config. So we are having discussion on these two components, right? So make a siding servlet context star mark IMP. Servlet context is an interface from Java X.servlet package, Java X.servlet package, and which is instantiated. Instantiated means object created, which is instantiated automatically when web application is deployed into server. Deployed means loaded. You can say it as loaded. Servlet context is an interface from Java X.servlet package, which is instantiated automatically when web application is deployed into server. Right. So when the application is deployed, we are imagining one object here, that is servlet context. Anyway, some object, servlet context, one object. Now this servlet context object, make it, this servlet context object is loaded with server information, loaded with server information. This servlet context object is loaded with server information, loaded with the server. So here server information will be there, Tomcat. The application deployed into the server name Tomcat, that is recorded here actually. So this servlet context object is loaded with server information. So here it is available already. loaded with server information. Now we want to access this information into, we have to access this information into one servlet program. We have to access that information into this servlet program. Whenever the servlet program want to access the information available in servlet context, this reference should come. This reference should come to servlet program. If you can access this reference here, then you can interact with that information available here, right? To get this reference here, we had a method like this. Make it, we use get servlet context. One method is there. We use get servlet context method to access the reference of servlet context object. Servlet context object. We use get servlet context method to access the reference of servlet context object. This object reference I want to bring here means we had a method known as get servlet context. One method is there. Sir, where this method is available? Generally, where I can find this method? Make a statement. This get servlet context method is available from servlet request, generic servlet, majorly available from get servlet context. Get servlet context method is available from servlet request, generic servlet, and HTTP session. Available in HTTP session. In 3 locations, you can find this get servlet context. 1 minute. Comma here. Comma. Also available in ServletConfig. It is available in ServletConfig. So this get servlet context method is available from request, generic servlet, HTTP session, and ServletConfig. In 3 locations, it is available. See, I will show it once. Java P, Java X dot servlet request. Can you see here get servlet context? Can you see this method? Right. So using request req dot get servlet context, we can access generic servlet available from generic servlet. Get servlet context. Can you see here? Get servlet context. It is available there. Available in ServletConfig. ServletConfig. Get ServletConfig. Here. Get servlet context available in the config also. We are looking in the session. Servlet.http session. You can see get servlet context. So in the 4 locations, the context. Why you are other given in 4 locations means developer wish. Suppose if you are in the session, if you want to access the information, you can bring that address location and access. So given flexibility for 4 locations: config, generic servlet, HTTP session, and request. 4 locations. So always we take the support of request or we take the support of generic servlet normally. So syntax of accessing servlet servlet context SAT is equal to req dot get servlet context. We can access. I'm accessing with the request. req dot get servlet context. Right. Now let me write one program up to here. Let me run it. Whether the context object reference is coming or not, we are going to cross check it. See there. Have you typed your program? URL rewrite hidden form field. Raise your hands. How many of you completed? Batch 3 people are working very hard. They are saying, yes sir, no one. They are giving a feedback to me, sir. They are working very hard. They said, is it real only? Right. Look here. But nobody raised hands. Right. First statement is correct only. They said to me the same thing. So I came here to make batch 3 people eligible for interview actually, because I'm tracing them. Right. They given that batch 3 people for advanced. Generally for me, batch 2 is included in that. So batch 3 is their target actually. So I'm monitoring that batch 3. Just I'm asking about that batch 3. Of course, the recruitments also I'll monitor, I think. Let's see. Right. Okay. All right. I'm creating one project here. Now here I'm creating dynamic web project. Morning somebody has to interview questions. Interview questions are with me already. JDBC, Servlet, JSP. Document is with me already. After completing JSP, I'll give the document. Right. Some questions are there around document to you. You can take it at the ending. Right. Okay. I'm generally Whenever I come for placement batch, I used to give the document for them for reading FAQs. At last, I'll dump it. Somebody asked, no, that it sits with me. Right. That questions, don't read it. When you're taking the question, you answer it. Difference, you got it? Right. So I'll give the document in the last, you answer it. Among that, how many questions you answer, you grade yourself. With that, you go for improvement. That's the way. Okay, right. First, you have to take one paper and you have to answer it. Suppose I given 10 questions, answer it by your own. So among 10, I am answering 5 means 50%. So I must improve something. You have to judge yourself and walk forward. So I'll give the paper that anyway for your own. Right. I'm taking servlet context. SERVLET, servlet context. Click on finish. Build path, configure. Right here, I am taking one program. So in this program, I am taking one input.html. I am taking part of web app. Right click, new HTML. Always I am taking a file name as input. Input.html. Click on finish. Our major target is config only. Generally, just one input file I am taking to send the data to servlet. Okay, right. So in this input.html, so as usual, we are taking one form tag. Anyway. Action is equal to DAS I am taking. Method is equal to post always. Just I am taking one name, not more than that. Input type is equal to text. Name is equal to, I am taking name, PR. Input type is equal to submit. Value is equal to some display. Already you know, whenever I submitted some information from HTML form, the information is available in the request object. So are available in the request where some name is equal to some Alex I am writing roughly. Okay, right. So name. So go for SRC, new package. Always we take test. Click on finish. Under test, we take one servlet class. I am taking it as display SERVLET. Display servlet I am taking. Here I am taking import java.io. Import java x.servlet. Import java x.servlet.http. Import java x.servlet.annotation at the rate of web servlet/das extends from HTTP servlet. Here I am taking protected void do post of HTTP servlet request REQ HTTP servlet response RES. Throws servlet exception IO exception. Here I am using print writer PW is equal to res dot get writer res dot set content type text or HTML. Now see that. Now this is normal frame layout. First, let me access this. Daily you are accessing this, no, right? To access the data available in the request, we are using get parameter anyway. So system pw dot println some user of this program anyway. I will take req dot get parameter of name. So roughly I'm taking. So first I'm accessing this, then I'll access this. Let me run that once. Correct. The program will run. Go with web.xml. Right click on webinf, new, other, XML, always web.xml. Web app. Welcome file list. Welcome file input dot HTML. Right. So let me run this program. It's a normal coding anyway. No database, nothing is there here. Okay, right. Just the data is coming to request, we are displaying. As we cross check the running and we modify and come. So run as, run on server, click on finish. Alex, I'm taking, it's coming. Okay, right. Now this is common daily happening, right? Okay. Our target is, sir, access this servlet context object reference and display this. Okay, right. See, now I am whenever I want to access object reference of servlet context. Here, servlet servlet context set is equal to req dot get servlet context. Here, accessing context object reference. This reference is accessed. Understood this point, right? Now, the server information is available or not. So here, pw dot println I'm displaying from context. I'm displaying from servlet context. I'm trying to display for output purpose. I'm writing it here. Server information is available. You said no, sir. Display it. So print ln here server information br server information. Whenever I want to access the server information from here, we had a method inside sct dot get server information. See there. So we had a method known as get server information. So where the application is deployed, see, you are using Tomcat. In the place of Tomcat, you can use any other server, no issue, right? The server information will be displayed. Now let me run this program once. The server information is coming or not. Let me cross check it. So right click, run as, run on server, click on finish. Server coming from servlet context, the information is coming. At last, we are accessing some information from context. All of you understood this? Right. Now, when you go for web services, in the web services, what happened is some informations will come to web browser. Web browser means address bar. Through address bar or whatever the informations can come to XML. Of course, web.xml is a standard predefined mapping file. I'll write the notes in the last. Okay, right. Only one file available in the advanced. When you go for XML web service, many XML documents will come, where your XML documents will collect some informations from a web browser. From this XML, I want to send the data to servlet. Whenever I want to send the data to servlet, first I must keep the data in the context. Actually, we are going to have some data in the context. Sir, how we are going to keep the data in the context means from here, for me flexible, from web.xml, I will load the data to context. I'm going to load it. This one we call it as initialization parameter. We call it as initialization parameter. This one you have to remember it. The last one question in the interview. I want to add one initialization parameter to servlet context. What is the process? Means we are having one tag here known as context PARAM. Make a statement. I am introducing one new tag into web.xml today. From day one onwards, today I maintained only one tag, that is welcome file list. Web app, welcome file list. Why I not written more tags in XML? Because no training is available for XML for you. Yes or no? No course is available on XML. I must not strain a student by writing more codes in the XML. So I kept only limited code, that is welcome file list. Today I am introducing one more tag, that is context PARAM. I'm introducing. Down you write it. Continue the notes. We use context PARAM. Context PARAM tag. We use context PARAM tag, part of web.xml, part of web.xml to initialize parameters to servlet context object. We use context PRM tag part of web.xml to initialize parameters to servlet context object. I'm going to keep it. Now, syntax. The syntax is already web app. The tag is there already. Inside this web app, I am writing context PARAM. I am writing. Inside this context PARAM, we are taking one parameter name. And we are taking one parameter value. Parameter name and parameter value we are taking. So below this we had welcome file list and so on. We had it. We are using one more tag known as all are lower cases. If you make a mistake, the program will not run. So context PRAM. Now, let me add for your program and run it once. See there, I am adding to your program. I will open web.xml. After many applications, we are writing one more tag, part of web.xml. See there, here I am adding. When you come to web service course, and your trainers will give XML documents. Here, actually, this course name is XML web service. Actually, original name is XML web service. Actually, but the students are bringing this term. My brother said, my uncle said, my sister is working. So they'll use one and then because the market also changing. Actual name is XML web service. Sir, my brother is working on web service. He asked me to learn it, sir. For me, opportunity is there, sir. They'll say, why this headache? They'll say web service. Market means first you have to hit the psychology of a student, no? Then only they'll get a business. To hit that psychology, they change the names and game. But actual term is XML web service. So XML documents are many biggest course on XML actually. If not, how the request is coming to XML directly? Observed or not now? One HTTP protocol sending request to XML document and finding the home page. So something is happening, no? Right. So the XML teacher has to give the tags, what is happening. So XML teacher will play a role for you. When you go for web services, of course, today microservice is a different issue, but before web service, lot more history is there. Before web service, Corba is there. Before Corba, RMA is there. RPC is there. Before that, socket is there. In Core Java socket programming, there's an old one. Socket programming, RPC, RMI, Corba, web service, microservice. That is an enhancement came. 21 years it taken to go to web service and microservice. That is an enhancement. But here documents are from your XML. In this XML, we are adding here. It's a new tag I'm adding here. Context PARAM. PARAM. Context PARAM. One minute. Right. I took one variable. So the variable is A. A is equal to 2000. Nothing but I took one variable A. Parameter name A and value is 2000. Sir, how should I imagine it? See like this. Sir, from web.xml, today we are modifying web.xml. Web.xml. Through this web.xml, we are loading one value to context. We are loading one value to context. What is the tag used here now? Context PARAM. Here I added A is equal to 2000. I added roughly for demo purpose. I added A is equal to 2000. Sorry, if it is A is equal to 2000 here, the value here. Anyway, address is here. Address came no SCT. So using this address location, I must access this variable. Using this address location, req.get parameter. They're using this or not now. The same way, here also one method is needed. The method is get init parameter. Get parameter means this one. Get init parameter means this one, because the interview question is there. What is the difference between get parameter, get init parameter? The question is there. So get init parameter means this one. Make it. Continue. We use notes continuation. We use get init parameter. Get init parameter method. We use get init parameter method to access the initialized parameter from servlet context and servlet config objects. Both. The method is available in both. It can access from context, it can access from config. So we use get init parameter method to access initialized parameter from servlet context and servlet config objects. So the method can be used on two objects. Right. So let me use this method part of your program once. Part of your program I am using. I am going for display servlet. Here I am displaying. See there. pw.println. Here context value means the value available in the context. I am using sct dot get servlet, get init parameter. The parameter name I took A. No, all of you understood that, right? Get parameter different and get init parameter different. Get parameter method is from request and get init from your servlet context. Now that variable A should be displayed. So right click, run on server, click on finish. right? See there, context value null. I took correct value or not? 1 minute. In web.xml, context PARAM, context PARAM. Running only, it is taking time. Alex, getting no right. So finally, through XML, you can load some data to context. To access this, I had a method known as get init parameter. Right. Now look here. From day one onwards, whenever I want to run servlet program, I need one URL pattern anyway. So we are taking the support of one annotation to declare this URL pattern. That is one process actually. But without annotation, I am removing that annotation. I'll take the support of web.xml file to execute it. So I'm introducing two more tags into web.xml. I'm introducing because now the servlet program is mapped through web.xml. So we are keeping URL pattern in the web.xml we are keeping, right? Whenever you want to keep URL pattern in the web.xml, I am adding two more tags to it. Two more tags. One tag is servlet, SERVLET, servlet. One more tag is SERVLET, servlet mapping. I hided these tags up to now because web.xml will create more headaches to you because I concentrated on annotation majorly. So here servlet tag and servlet mapping. In the servlet tag we had servlet name, you have to take it. Here you have to take it. Servlet class, you have to take it. Servlet name is display servlet. And servlet class means dot class file available in the package test dot display servlet. So servlet name, servlet class. Servlet mapping, the meaning is nothing but based on which URL pattern you are going to map it. So here two subtags again. Servlet name is available. The servlet name should be same here. Whatever you take in here, the same thing you have to take in here. Sorry, you have to take here. That is display servlet. You have to take it. And here you have to take URL pattern here. These are URL PATTERN URL pattern /dis. This is a syntax. So you can take the support of web.xml to find the servlet program and execute it using two tags, servlet and servlet mapping. Suppose 4 servlet programs are there, means 4 servlet tags, 4 servlet mappings. Biggest XML file will come. Biggest XML file. To overcome that lengthy, we used annotation. Very easy, no? At the rate of annotation. Now we can use these tags also. You must have an information because we are leaving servlet, no? Right. We are leaving servlet and going for filter and listener. So when you are leaving servlet, you must have one more information with you. I can execute my servlet program by keeping URL pattern in web.xml also using two tags known as servlet and servlet mapping. Now the program is executed or not. Let me cross check it. I removed this annotation here because the information is available in the web.xml, right? Why and your company people will ask Spring Boot with microservice, they are asking nowadays. Spring Boot means less XML configuration is available. If Spring is there, high XML configuration is there. Normal Spring, high XML configuration is there. But XML will have its own advantages to collect the data in the web service. Different issue. But according to servlet coding, how many tags are available, you must know minimum. So I introduced here annotation not available to me. Up to now you are using annotation. So in this program, you are taking the support of web.xml to identify the servlet program and execute it. Let me run it once. Right. See there? Answer is coming or not now? So what is the information now? Through annotation, I can execute servlet program, or through web.xml, I can execute the servlet program, two models. Sir, why you suddenly given this? The reason for servlet config. I'm entering into which one now? Servlet config. So here one more object is there, no? Servlet config. Anyway, let us have a discussion on servlet config. Before discussing about servlet config, one statement to be remembered. Total web application. So web application means many servlets will be there. So total web application will have only one context object. How many context objects? Only one. Because the context object is created when web application is deployed. Servlet context is created when web application is deployed. So web application deploys how many times now? Only once. www.gmail.com deploys only once. For every user, it will not deploy. Understood this statement, right? User 1, user 2, they log in and log out only. For every user, it will not deploy. If every user deploys, and how many times it has to deploy it? So it is not happening. And deploy means only once. So whenever it is deployed, context object created only once. So how many context objects are there means only once. The statement I am writing down to be remembered. Note. Total web application will have only one servlet context object. Total web application will have only one servlet context object, and the information in servlet context object and the information in servlet context object can be used by all servlet programs, of web application, So if any information is there, example, One servlet want to provide the information to remaining all servlet programs, means the information you can add here. Sir, how I can add it? Attribute is there? No. You can add attribute or not now. So attribute can be added to context also. Through attribute, if you add any information here, all the servlet programs can see. That's a major advantage of your servlet context. All of you got one idea on servlet context? Right. Now, servlet config, star mark IMP. Servlet config. SERVLET. Servlet config is an interface from Java X dot servlet package, and which is instantiate automatically when servlet program is loaded for execution. When the servlet program is loaded for execution, then the config object is created. Servlet config is an interface from Java X dot servlet package, and which is instantiated automatically when servlet program is loaded for execution. Now look here. Every servlet program will have its own servlet config object. So 5 servlets are there, means they'll come one by one or not now. So every servlet will have its own config object. Make a statement down. Every servlet program in web application will have its own servlet config object. Servlet config object. Every servlet program in web application will have its own servlet config object. When the servlet program is loaded, automatically config object is created. That's the meaning. Now this servlet config object is loaded with servlet name. This servlet config object is loaded with servlet name. The servlet config object is loaded with servlet name. Is loaded with servlet name. So then servlet will have one name. No? In web.xml we are giving one name. That name will come and load into config. Right. So we are imagining one address location here also. No? Some address location. Here also some address location. To access this address location, we need one method. No? Right. The method is get servlet config. The method name is get servlet config. Make it. We use get servlet config. We use get servlet config method to access the reference of servlet config object. We use get servlet config method to access the reference of servlet config object. Right. Sir, where this method is available? Actually, the method is available in the generic servlet. So what is generic servlet? Sir, our program is extended from HTTP servlet. It is extended from generic servlet. And this is extended or not now? Here one method is there, mean the method will be available to here. The method will be available to this object. This object will have that method or not now. Our servlet object only will have that automatically. Of course, it is a not life cycle method. Life cycle means not auto executable. It is life cycle means executed automatically. So this method we have to call it. How you will call it now? Sir, available in the generic servlet. Make it this get servlet config method is available from generic servlet. Available from generic servlet. So syntax is servlet config sc is equal to this dot get servlet config. You can say this dot get servlet config. This means what? Accessing from the same object or not now. One method want to call another method from the same object. You can say this, right? So this dot get servlet config. Right. So let me run up to here. Already program is there with us. For this program, pw dot println here servlet config. Anyway, here I must access the config servlet servlet config sc is equal to this dot get servlet config. You can see here it is coming from generic servlet. Can you see here? Now accessing config object. Config object. Now I said in the config object servlet name is available. Display it. pw dot println servlet name sc dot get servlet name dot get servlet name. So we had a method known as get servlet name here. Now the servlet name will be displayed. Let us check it. Right click, run as, run on server, click on finish. See there from config, what is the servlet name now? Display servlet. So it is accessing. Now the same way from web.xml, if you want to send some information to this config to your servlet, we can set it. This also initialization parameter. In the web.xml, I am introducing one more tag, initPARAM. Make it. We use we use initPARAM tag part of servlet tag, means a subtag of servlet. We use initPARAM tag part of servlet tag to initialize parameters to servlet config object. We use initPARAM tag part of servlet to initialize parameters to servlet config object. Syntax: web app servlet in this servlet we had servlet name and servlet class. Inside this subtag we had init PARAM among this init we had PARAM name, PARAM name, PARAM value, PARAM value. So servlet mapping I am not writing anyway, you know, dot. So part of initPARAM. initPARAM is a subtag of a servlet, indirectly subtag of a servlet. So to access this initialization parameter, same method. Get init parameter method is used to access this data here. All of you know HTML completed, all of you? Radio buttons, check boxes, that all you know. To read them, I'll introduce one program. Check boxes, that all, I'll introduce one. All of you know that, no, right? HTML. Right. Now let me add to your program here web.xml anyway. Here inside the servlet it is a subtag init PARAM. Here PARAM name, I am taking B here roughly. PARAM value, I am taking some 3000, I am taking roughly. So I took init PARAM tag inside the servlet tag. Now whenever I want to access this initialized parameter, same method, get init parameter. Okay, right. Go for display servlet. So final. Now here config value pw.println config value sc dot get init parameter, that is b. Now the value should come. Right. Anyway, coming now. Right. So finally, we are accessing the config. Context. We are accessing the config. With this, all objects are covered. Yes or no now? Context, config, request, response, print writer, session, cookie, DAO, bean, and JCF. 10 objects. Working with 10 objects is servlet programming. That's the point. So all the questions will be beyond that only. Within that only, all the questions will come. Right. Finally, I update your diagram. Now here, from here, we are going to update the data. So here I added B is equal to 3000 added. One initialized parameter. So these are the objects. So these are the objects. So how many objects are there now? 10 objects. In JDBC, how many objects will be there? Sir, forget it, sir. Do you remember? 10 objects include forward. Here I will write it. So summary of objects generated from core Java, this one. Summary of objects generated from JDBC. What are they? Connection object, statement object, prepared statement object, callable statement, non-scrollable, scrollable, row set. Among the JDBC cached, among that cached we had filtered, web row set, among web row set, filtered, join row set, metadata objects, these 4. Do you remember, right? Today, servlet objects. Understood now, right? You must remember and by heart them. Fingertips we say. Fingertips means you must say, no other choice. You are a carrier that only no. Yes or no? Na? Carrier means you must remember, no. Right? So that's my carrier means it's a fingertip only. See, I selected as a carrier, no. Now my carrier is Java. Morning to evening, eating, drinking, sleeping, also Java only. So total Java flavored only. Since 2002 onwards till now, I am with Java. My academic project also Java only. RPC RMI in 2001 academic. Final year. 2001, 2002. Final year. My final year project is RPC and RMI through Java. My first offer letter is 2002. Before 1 year, I took the offer letter from the campus. Java. But I worked on RPC. Sorry. I worked on system call writer for 8 months. After that, Java developer. Pure Java. After that, Java 5 came, no, and that day Java 5 trainer is not there. So the market converted me as a trainer. Forcibly. Amount is very high, no, I converted. Understood this, right? Some employees will be fast in the team, no, unnecessarily I've been fast, I think, on that day. So I'm a good code writer on that day. I'm a mentor for ABM in 2006, great challenge, a mentor for it, actually. So like this, our journey started. In that journey, different phases, whatever it may be, morning to evening, we'll be with Java only. If you ask one C doubt also, I cannot understand. The reason, C people separate and move, don't speak to them. Because they don't have virtual machines, nothing is there. They'll speak about RAM. Where is RAM for us? Of course, our JVM is running there. So I'm speaking about domain. Domain based knowledge means stick on to your area. That's all. So I'm sticking, no. So I can imagine all objects. 140 objects, I'll imagine it till web service. 142 objects will come. So that 142 objects should be under our control. That is object-oriented programmer. Object-oriented programmer meaning is without your knowledge, object must not be there in the market. Then you can say object-oriented programmer. One object created means you must say when it is created, why it is created, where it is created, what is its lifetime, what it contains, whether I access or not. That's called object-oriented. Understood this point? Like this, I'm giving a list to you. Core Java, some objects command, JDBC, some objects command. Servlet, I'm giving a clarity. How many objects command now? 10. No filter, no listener. Tomorrow filter is coming. Filter means security. Servlet is saying that all are sending a request to me. I want filter, security guard. Tomorrow Servlet is asking for security guard. That only filter. Right? Many people are making more transactions on me. I want recording in the background. Listener. The two components we add for servlet, filter and listener. But major servlet over. Servlet means 10 objects. That's the way. Even I also, whenever I start advanced Java, at any cost, here are there, I must train these 10 objects. That's the target. So here are there, there is a syllabus part. So here are there, at any cost, I must give the 10 objects. So today, hope I given the 10 objects, I drawn first to you. Why I'm showing that means already I written that. What are the objects available to you? From core, from JDBC, at least what I covered from JDBC, I listed. And today I given a diagrammatical form to you. Here, what I covered, there it is available. Right? All should be had servlet context, servlet config, request, response, print writer, HTTP session, cookie, beans, DAO, JCF. Anyway, Java collection framework object belongs to core Java. But anyway, even servlet is controlling that object part of model layer. So we write JCF object here. Like this, 10 objects are there. Today, I'll add this diagram one more time to you because I added the 2 black lines. No, I'll add it. Tomorrow, I'll give the summary. Summary means what has been happened. 1 second, I'll speak summary. 1 or 2 interview questions are there. I'll write the interview questions. Tomorrow, I am bringing tomorrow's class is filter. Filter is nothing but a servlet program needs security. So it arranges one filter and says that if somebody passed a request to me, divert that request to filter. Filter will check it and send it to me. That's called filter. So tomorrow I am introducing filters in servlet programming. After that, listeners in servlet programming. With that, your servlet code will be ended. After that, annotation, some nodes should be given, right? After the annotation, servlet collaboration, one question is there. Then servlet lifecycle, one question is there. There your syllabus ends actually. Anyway, read the notes and come. I'll attach this diagram today for you. So example program or application anyway. In this example application, what are the programs I written? One is input.html. One is web.xml. Today annotation not there. Try to run this program. If you make any mistake in web.xml, the program will not run. So carefully type it. And here it is. display servlet, display servlet, servlet non-Java. Here I'll keep a diagram once again, diagram of object layout. I'll keep the diagram once again. So tomorrow I'll start the filters for you after summary, right? Take a break. Thank you very much for today.